Congressman, thanks for being here. What can Democrats do at this point to derail the process?
Todd, what they're trying to do or have suggested that they're going to do is an impeachment, which is absolutely insane. And it proves that they are weaponizing basically the political process. It's all political, and harkens back to their last one, that they realize, for them at least, it's a political tool and not, what the Constitution intended impeachment to be. It's ridiculous. But honestly, I'm not sure, although Nancy Pelosi and others have suggested that that's what they're going to do, I don't think that works. I mean, that doesn't slow the Senate down until articles are moved to the Senate. So it's probably just bullying, them being bullies.
As we look at the vote count right now, it does look like the GOP does have the votes. And keep in mind, Lisa Murkowski sort of created a little bit of excitement yesterday with some ambiguity as to where she is on all this after first coming out and saying she apparently was going to be a no. But with that, let's listen to Joe Biden with some inflammatory language on the president's pick. Of course, 3 days before we know who that person is. Take a listen.
We should go to the American people and make the case why this is a gigantic mistake and abuse of power. Women's rights as it relates to everything from medical health care is going to be gone. Pregnancy will be a pre-existing condition.
It was a little tough to hear Biden through that mask. But, Congressman, is any of what he said there correct?
I didn't catch all of it, but some of the things that I've heard Vice President Biden say recently about this are just absurd. It makes no sense whatsoever. This is a constitutional obligation of the president. And I agree with President Trump. A 4-4 split after this election will be a nightmare.
So women's rights are not going to be gone. Pregnancy won't be a precondition, according to Mr. Biden. Can you elaborate on those threats from Joe Biden as to a potential Donald Trump second term?
To suggest that with a different Supreme Court justice or a Trump-appointed Supreme Court justice that pregnancy as a precondition is going to go away is insane. There's no Republican who's ever had that thought.
Meantime, let's go to this. GOP lawmakers, as you know, fighting the Democrats on their threat to pack the Supreme Court. But you actually introduced a constitutional amendment last March to keep the number of seats on the Supreme Court at 9. Before the latest hullabaloo, Congressman, what were your arguments?
This concern that they would pack the justices or pack the court with justices who will interpret the Constitution by what they think it ought to say or should say. The concept of a living constitution, which began in the 1950s in the Warren Court, basically makes them a tyrannical body. They can do away with any executive order at that point. They can do away with any law passed by Congress. And it creates this 9 or 10 or 15 or whatever number they want group of people that can basically run the country whatever their political biases are. That is not what our founders intended. They intended to spread power amongst branches, make those branches of government equal, spread power between the states and local governments to prevent tyranny. But you put that kind of power in the hands of the Supreme Court, and that is tyranny, and that is absolutely what we've got to fight against, and why I did my amendment.
Finally, Congressman, 30 seconds remaining on this last topic. Dr. Fauci says he is cautiously optimistic about a coronavirus vaccine being approved for use by the end of the year. You're a doctor. Are you cautiously optimistic?
I'm very optimistic. I think the FDA is not going to throw its procedures to the wind. They're going to look at data and make data-driven decisions. This Operation Warp Speed is, quite frankly, historic. They've done a fantastic job, and particularly some of those vaccines look, revolutionary. The mRNA or messenger RNA virus is unbelievably good.
It's fascinating what they've done so far. Fingers crossed that we get it sooner rather than later, because quite frankly, Congressman, I want to be vaccinated for Christmas. Don't know if that'll happen, but we will see. Congressman Mark Green, we appreciate your time this morning. Thanks so much.
Todd, thanks.